Sup guys, dinofries here, and today I want to talk about ChronoStory. In case you're not familiar, it's an old school MapleStory server on MapleStory Worlds. ChronoStory is still in alpha, but since only coming out like a couple months ago, it's already received over 80,000 players. Now the creator of ChronoStory is Boutei, who's actually a friend of mine that I made back when Artale was still a thing, like a year ago. And he's been working on ChronoStory since New Year's Day. And so now that ChronoStory is popping off, I figured I should do a little interview with Boutei. And so about 3 weeks ago, I asked you guys, what questions I should ask him. And about 2 weeks ago, Boutei sent those answers back, just so you guys understand the timeline here. And just so you know, Boutei does not show his face or even expose his voice online. So this was all done through the DMs. And so I will read out the questions and his answers. All right, let's get into it. I asked, why are you Donkey Kong? He said, I liked Donkey Kong since the Nintendo 64 days. I played a lot of Donkey Kong 64 and played mostly Donkey Kong in Super Smash Bros. 64. I asked, what's your favorite MapleStory class, song, map, and why? He said, class, brawler, or bandit. I just like fast melee classes. Song, Missing You, the Alinea Tree Dungeon music. It triggers the nostalgia. Map, Elnoth. Snowy towns are usually my favorite spots in any game. I asked, how did you get into game development and what inspired you to create ChronoStory? If you could start over from square one, knowing everything you've learned so far, what would you do differently? He said, my first game I developed was Bandit Story RPG. I posted the game on Basil Market, and I remember a few people played that game. It was a pretty similar RPG game from what I remember. Artale inspired me to create ChronoStory. I played it for a few months, but really thought the experience could be better. If Artale wasn't going to improve their game, I figured I'd try to do it myself. Well, if I knew that Classic World was coming out, I probably would not have made ChronoStory. If I hadn't developed so much of it already, I probably would have dropped the project when Classic World was announced. I asked, recreating classic MapleStory inside the MapleStory Worlds engine sounds tough. How difficult was it to make the physics in combat feel authentic? And how far can you push the toolkit? For example, adding custom mobs, skills, or original content? He said, it's not too bad. It just involves a lot of referencing and trying to match the frames so the game feels the same as old school MapleStory. MapleStory Worlds does provide a good starting point for the combat system, but it does need to be customized to work exactly as you want it. I had to create my own player and skill attack system in order to achieve what I wanted for the combat. And now, it is relatively easy to create whatever player or mob skills and attacks I need. I asked, would you say ChronoStory follows a clear design document or more of a flexible, evolving philosophy? What's your core vision for how ChronoStory should feel compared to the original game? He said, I have a general idea of what the progression should be, but it is flexible to meet whatever the player base needs. I will stop whatever I'm developing to address key issues or bugs. I think ChronoStory should be old school MapleStory Plus. It looks and feels like old school MapleStory, but there are quality of life changes to better fit the modern MMO scene. I asked, what's your day job? And how do you balance that with developing ChronoStory? Plus your personal life, and especially your sleep schedule. Do you ever take a break? He said, I'd rather not mention my day job specifically, as I'm concerned about being doxxed now with how much attention this game has received, but I'll say I am an engineer. I have exchanged a lot of my gaming hours in order to develop ChronoStory. I only play on occasion now when I need a break from developing. I have been sleeping a bit less now that ChronoStory is in early access, but it's manageable. I just drink more coffee and tea nowadays. I asked, what does the roadmap look like at this point? Any custom content on the horizon? What about events such as Christmas Happyville? And what's the end goal, like up to Cygnus sites, let's say, before you consider the game complete? He said, optimizations, then third job, then Ludibrium, then Dewey trading system, cross-channel trading system, then question mark? I would like to do custom content one day, but that will be much later. Once the essentials are completed, more extensive events can be done. I do have a few custom classes in mind, but won't be worked on until much later. I asked, with MapleStory Classic officially on the horizon, what's your honest take, both on Classic itself and how it might affect ChronoStory's future? Do you see them coexisting, or are you preparing to pivot once Classic launches? He said, most likely no old school MapleStory server in MapleStory Worlds will be able to compete with Classic World due to better server support, better anti-cheat systems, and having an entire team behind it. I can see them coexisting, but most people will likely migrate to Classic World when it becomes available. If there is still a healthy player base still playing ChronoStory, I would still develop it. I asked, you've managed to build something people love with just you and your partner Vaft. Shout out Vaft. Are there any plans to expand the team or bring in new contributors? Also, how do you decide which community suggestions to prioritize, especially when they might delay your roadmap? He said, I would like to expand the team, but it's difficult to find trustworthy people. The growth of ChronoStory definitely was unexpected, so expanding the team soon is likely necessary. I just prioritize a community suggestion if it's relatively easy and quick to implement. I asked, players are excited for third job. When can we expect it? And how are you handling balance changes and skill revamps? Also, when can we expect guilds? And what about a free market system or even an auction house? He said, third job is going to take some time, especially because it is constantly being put aside to fix bugs and optimize the server to be less laggy. Guilds will take some time to develop, probably after a buddy system is implemented. Free market, auction house, still being discussed. Free market with the mushroom stores would likely be a bad choice simply because of the current channel limitations of MapleStory Worlds. Having to set up a shop every time you change channels seems like it would feel terrible gameplay wise. Auction house also has a lot of problems with the large player base, as we saw in our tale. Also, auction house would give botters and hackers a lot more trading power. I asked, ChronoStory has blown up and people are loving it. How do you think this came to be? And how do you feel about the success of your project? He said, I think it blew up because of it trending in Asia. I believe one of your streams trended in Asia and it kind of snowballed from there. Asia brought in a lot of players, but it also brought issues. Most of the botters and hackers are from Asia. I am happy that ChronoStory has done as well as it did, but also a bit disappointed that it attracted botters and hackers way too quickly. Okay, that's the interview. It was more of a Q&A. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and for those who play ChronoStory, I hope this gave you guys some insight. Thank you to Boutei for letting me talk with him about ChronoStory, and also just like thanks for ChronoStory because it's like one of the best games I've played this year. And I played Expedition 33 and MapleStory Classic World itself. If you haven't checked out ChronoStory yet, link in description below. Go check it out if you're a fan of old school MapleStory. I highly recommend it. And yeah, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. Please drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. What did you guys think of the Q&A, not an interview, and just about ChronoStory and Boutei in general? Leave a comment and let me know. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'll see you in ChronoStory. Peace out.